Listen, it's not just Chelsea. You've got Tottenham, you've got Manchester United. There's a few clubs. This is the beauty of the EPL. You know, Leicester won it a few years ago. And whoever thought Leicester, everybody underneath them was, you know, just had that bad season. But let's not take it away from Leicester. Leicester went out and won it. Anybody can win the EPL. It doesn't have to be a Chelsea, a Liverpool. Yeah, them clubs will spend. But look at Manchester United. They'll spend money. You know, in this present crisis at this present time, will it be over hundreds of millions? I don't see it. But Liverpool will go out and spend. Manchester City will probably go out and spend. Chelsea are looking at spending now, and I think Frank has done a wonderful job at Chelsea. You know, he's gone in there with the players he had. He put a lot of young players in there. Him and Jody Morris. Obviously, Jody Morris was head of the 18s and the 21s, so he knew a lot of the nucleus of them younger boys. They've been absolutely fantastic. And now all Frank wants to do, if he can cement fourth place, get them into the Champions League for next season, then brilliant. And then use the young lads, bring one or two players in, and that's what I think Frank will do. And he's been given the funds to do that. So fantastic on the Chelsea front. Don't forget, they lost a fantastic player in Eden Hazard, didn't they? So they've got to replace him. How do you replace him? You know, it's hard to replace a player like that. So I think Frank's done a great job for his first season. It's next season where it will count. See what he does next season. Because obviously, good coaches, good teams, fathom your system out and they try and toy with your system a little bit. So it'll be a big season for Frank this coming season.
The VAR Show. The one place for your weekly football update.
Hola, a very warm welcome to the VAR show, the show which talks about all the various major football leagues in detail. Today we are going to continue the theme of interviews and we have a very special guest. We have the former head coach of Kerala Blasters, Mr. Terry Phelan with us. So without wasting much time, I would like to first thank Terry for coming on the show. Thank you and welcome to our show. And I would like to begin the interview by asking you, how are you and what are you doing during this pandemic period?
Well, I'm fine, as you can see. I'm up, I'm well, I'm fine. I try and keep myself as fit as I can do. A couple of sessions a day. Obviously, I'm doing a lot of coach education work with our coaches at South United. In Bangalore, we're doing, we're really building a new infrastructure here. It's probably a couple of months off. We kept the workers on, kept them working. So, yeah, the facility is ongoing now, and hopefully, if this virus dies down, we can get a little bit more normality into the community, get the confidence in the community, and start getting them out and start enjoying themselves again through sports.
Definitely. So we'll talk about a more lighter topic, that is football, in comparison to what's happening in the world. So you are currently in India and you recently worked with Kerala Blasters. That was quite a while back, actually, not recently. So I'll ask you a question which you would have been asked a lot, like in your interviews. How is the footballing culture in India in comparison to England, where you spent most of your career?
Well, let's go back to the 18th century, and that will probably tell you. You've had football in England going back over 100 years. So it was started over there by the Englishmen over there, and then it was taken around the world. So, and it's just growing. Clubs were started up, competitions were started up. The FA Cup, the oldest cup competition in the world, was started up. So when we talk about what's different, there's a lot of things different. Infrastructure is different. Professionalism is different. Don't forget, you've got 4 or 5 clubs probably in a 10-mile radius of your home. So you grow up in and around it. It's probably like, we talk about cricket in India. Cricket has been going in England for many blue moons. So to tell you the truth, if we really look at it, the football in India is growing. Coach education is getting better. Infrastructures are getting better. We at South United Football Academy now are just building a wonderful infrastructure down here in the middle of Bangalore. So it just tells you that owners are starting to stretch their minds a lot. The problem is it's got to be long term, especially if you're working with the youth sector and the grassroots sector in the academies. or residential academies, you've got to have a long-term plan and a long-term goal to develop the students. And I think we don't give coaches enough time. You know, when you're working in the Premiership and you're working for the top clubs, you don't have enough time there. But we've got to give more coaches a little bit more time, especially at the grassroots level, coming through them phases, you know, foundation phases, youth phases and professional phases. You need to see people grow. But for me, I mean, you know, you look at the infrastructure, you look at Manchester United. How old is Manchester United? Manchester City. They've just built an academy a few years back, £250 million. So that just tells you what is different itself. We're getting there with the Indian players. You know, attitudes are getting better. Coach education, like I said, is getting better. You know, the national teams, women and the men, is really getting better and all. It's what we have underneath that in India, what we've got to start growing underneath that. And if we're patient, then when we talk about World Cups, it may not happen yet, but it may happen in the near future if we keep developing our minds as coaches, and then up to the players to develop their minds. Don't forget, you know, way back, a lot of parents wanted their children maybe to be a doctor, a nurse, or, you know, get some higher education. You didn't see sports as an education, whereas now they're seeing sports as a real education, and they're trying to mirror image it with, you know, their education and the sports, and not just football, all sports, because you can earn a living out of sports if you're good enough and you put the right attitude into it.
So definitely. So I'll move on from the main senior football to maybe grassroots, where you have worked a lot, you know, with Kerala Blasters, and you're also working right now. So, you know, what is the condition of grassroots football in India in your experience?
Well, I mean, from when I first come to India in 2009, 2010 to 2012. I was working with Swansea Football Club, Swansea Football Academy, as a chief mentor. And, you know, you got pockets like Go, you got pockets like Kerala. You know, there is players out there, but they need more. You know, it's too late. By the time they're probably 14, 15, they need the nucleus when they're younger. They need the good habits when they're younger. And I don't think they was getting that. You know, it's not all about the winning, it's all about developing. You know, you want to win games. Everybody wants to win games. Everybody wants to have that victory medal. But for me, it's about educating the students to be able to do it at the grassroots level. We need more qualified, good qualified full-time coaches and all at the grassroots level. You know, a lot of our coaches are part-time, and that puts an added little bit of stress on them. I think some fantastic coaches in India at this present time. But it's not all about just working at the top end. We've got to have the best coaches and all working at the bottom end, working with aspiring young boys or young girls who aspire to be football players and earn a living out of that.
So definitely. So you are saying you all are building a new state-of-the-art academy and residential school with Souths. So how is the infrastructure in general? Like in
well, if I can stop you there, we're not building a residential. We're building a big community project, which will house our academy out of that. And obviously it'll be a project for the community to use and all. And that's what we're building. It's not just about South United Football Club. It's about bringing the community in and developing the community in and around our infrastructure. Infrastructures are getting better. You know, the academy systems are getting better all around India, and that's all we can hope for. You know, I think if we're going to catch up with the Europeans, you know, we've got the infrastructure and the coach education. It's got to be of a structure where they're going to learn, the students are going to learn, and the infrastructure is going to house everything from sports science to, you know, your best of medical, to the best pitches, you know, to the best coaches. That's what's going to be needed. Don't forget, you know, in Europe, football's been there for over 100 years. And, you know, to catch up with that, then we've got to start somewhere. But we've still got a long way to go.
So definitely. Now moving on from your experience in India, I'll talk about your playing career. You played for so many different clubs at a very high level, you know. And where did you have the best experience of your playing career? Which club?
Well, I think all clubs have a different bit of experience for and a different nostalgia. To tell you the truth, I mean, it was great. I started at Leeds United as a young boy, broke into the first team, played in the reserve team when I was like 15 years of age, so that was fantastic. But don't forget, in them days, we're playing against top international professionals, you know, so at a young age there, you're learning your trade straight away, and that's getting you ready. I think it's a little bit different this day and age. You know, you have U18s, 19s, 20s, 21s in Europe. So if I get back to the main question, I think Leeds, because I started off at Leeds and I learnt my trade at Leeds. But then, you know, I can go to Wimbledon. We won an FA Cup final in 1988. We beat Liverpool at Wimbledon, a little small club. So that was fantastic. You know, then to Manchester City. So some big clubs. I think my best time was probably going to London and starting off at Wimbledon, because I actually won a trophy out of Wimbledon, who was renowned for not being the greatest footballing side, but renowned for being, you know, hard workers, great desire, focus and commitment. And that's what we did. Plus we finished 7th in the old league then.
So definitely. So you also played in the World Cup. So, you know, you had a very good core of players, you know, during the 1994 World Cup. You know, you had Keane, Irwin, McAteer, to name a few. How was it playing in the World Cup? You even defeated Italy in the process.
Well, I mean, a World Cup's like an FA Cup final, is it? As a boy growing up on the streets, kicking a ball about and being exciting, you know, getting called in for your dinner and then watching a bit of football and getting back out again. That's all you wanted to do. So it's about winning trophies. When you're a young boy, you want to be on the TV. You want to try and do what the top professionals are doing. And I remember watching my first cup final was 1976, and that was Manchester United against Southampton. My first World Cup was the 1978 World Cup in Argentina. So as a young boy, you look at that and you think, well, that's where I need to be. And, you know, thankfully, and my dreams come true, played in an FA Cup final, actually won that. And then to play in a World Cup for your country is the pinnacle for any boy or any girl, I'll say, and all. To play for your country, to play in front of 100,000 people in the giant stadium in the USA against a top world-class Italian team, and to go out and beat them again, it's what dreams are made of, really. You know, and that's what we dream as we're growing up and wanted to be aspiring football players. So it was fantastic for me, yes.
So, you know, like, as you said, you played for Manchester City, Everton and even Chelsea. How does it feel to see Liverpool win the league this season?
Listen, I grew up as a Manchester City fan, to tell you the truth. And, you know, back in my day, Liverpool was always on the TV. And we watched a lot of Liverpool. I loved the way Liverpool played. I was a Manchester City fan, but Manchester City wasn't on the TV all the time, to tell you the truth. It was all Liverpool then back in the, you know, the 70s and early 80s. But I grew up as a Manchester City fan. My first shirt was a Manchester City shirt. But getting down to the grounds, it was expensive back in them days. So the only problem is we had to watch it on TV. Liverpool was always on TV. Liverpool haven't won it for 30 years. It's about time they won it. They've got a team now. European champions, fantastic. That's what they are. There was European Champions finals the year before, finalists the year before. So now they've got, I think now, if they don't win it now, they'll never win it. You know, 20-odd points clear. I think they'll win the next couple of games and it's nailed on for them. I think it's fantastic for Liverpool. Not just for the football club, but for the community and the people and all. They've been waiting an awful long time. And Liverpool, as a city, has had some real difficult times. So for me, it's, you know, Manchester City have won it. They've had that. They've got the monkey off the back by winning it. Manchester United have won it on numerous occasions. You know, you look at Everton, they've been there and won it. Now it's up to Liverpool, and a fantastic club, Liverpool. Why shouldn't they win it? They've been the best team in the EPL. Fair dues to them. Why can't they lift the trophy?
So, you know, being a City fan growing up that you were, what do you think went wrong with them? Was it like City being bad, or was it Liverpool's brilliance that has made Liverpool win the league this season?
Well, I think Liverpool have been, you know, they've been consistent. I think if we use the word consistent, they've been very consistent. And they've won games at the last minute and all. So that just tells you the mentality of the players. Never stop, keep going. They lost it last year by 1 point. Let's remember, by 1 point last year. So they wasn't far away. This year, they've come even stronger. They've won the Champions League. like I said, champions of Europe, and they've said to themselves, we need to start off where we left. And that's what they've done. Manchester City have been indifferent. You know, they've lost numerous of games. You can't lose 5, 6, 7 games and expect to win the EPL. And Liverpool have won the games. They've stuck at it. And there you go. I think they're 25 points clear at this present time. Magnificent number, to be clear. And if they don't win it now, they'll never win it. So I think it's nailed on for Liverpool. I think Manchester City have just been indifferent. They've had a few injuries. I think Van Dijk for Liverpool has been absolutely brilliant, and the front three. Henderson's come into great form. You know, he's really been the captain of Liverpool and the fourth row. So Manchester City, they've had their injury doubts. I don't think they really cemented that centre-back role. They never got somebody in really to show that up. So for me, they've struggled a little bit. But, you know, I think they'll have their eye on the Champions League. Once that comes up, will be Manchester City.
So, you know, one of your former teams, Chelsea, have been shopping quite well in the transfer window. Like, they are almost, I think, they're the front runners in signing Werner and even, I think, Kai Havertz. Do you think next season it will be a 2-horse race, or do you think Chelsea will be added to it?
Well, listen, it's not just Chelsea. You've got Tottenham, you've got Manchester United. There's a few clubs. This is the beauty of the EPL. You know, Leicester won it a few years ago. And whoever thought Leicester, everybody underneath them was, you know, just had that bad season. But let's not take it away from Leicester. Leicester went out and won it. Anybody can win the EPL. It doesn't have to be a Chelsea, a Liverpool. Yeah, them clubs will spend. But look at Manchester United. They'll spend money. You know, in this present crisis at this present time, will it be over hundreds of millions? I don't see it. But Liverpool will go out and spend. Manchester City will probably go out and spend. Chelsea are looking at spending now, and I think Frank has done a wonderful job at Chelsea. You know, he's gone in there with the players he had. He put a lot of young players in there. Him and Jody Morris. Obviously, Jody Morris was head of the 18s and the 21s, so he knew a lot of the nucleus of them younger boys. They've been absolutely fantastic. And now all Frank wants to do, if he can cement 4th place, get them into the Champions League for next season, then brilliant. And then use the young lads. Bring 1 or 2 players in, and that's what I think Frank will do. And he's been given the funds to do that. So, fantastic on the Chelsea front. Don't forget, they lost a fantastic player in Eden Hazard, didn't they? So, they've got to replace him. How do you replace him? You know, it's hard to replace a player like that. So I think Frank's done a great job for his first season. It's next season where it will count. See what he does next season. Because obviously, good coaches, good teams, fathom your system out and they try and toy with your system a little bit. So it'll be a big season for Frank this coming season.
So moving from maybe Premier League to yourself, that now you're currently involved with many teams, like maybe as a mentor in the academies. Are you looking to getting back into coaching of senior team?
Well, I'm a technical director for South United Football Club here in Bangalore, and you know, really, you know, grabbing the youngsters, giving them something what I learned. A lot of good coach education for our coaches who are full-time coaches. So really educating them on the philosophy of youth football, right from the grassroots stages, right through to the professional stages, and that's what we're trying to do with them. Listen, you can never say never in football, you know. But at the present time, I'm happy where I am. I enjoy what I'm doing. If I can educate the coaches to be positive and get them in the right steps, and then they can educate the students, the Indian students, to get better and have a love for the game and fall in love with the game, which they are doing over there. If we can really, really push that out, then I'm all right where I am. I'm happy to do what I'm doing.
So, you know, like in the course of this interview, one thing that you have stressed upon is coach education. And what is you have been involved with a lot of coaches in the form of interactions and even in your academy. And what is the one maybe a problem that you see in the education of the coaches here? Or the one mistake they make?
No, I don't see problems and I don't see mistakes. I see that they need more learning and more education. I don't see them making mistakes. And I don't see problems. They just need to maybe, you know, like I said before, there's a lot of part-time coaches out there. If you can read as much as you can, if you can go on courses as much as you can, if you can watch football on the TV, no matter what it is, if you can. Plus now you've got, you know, you've got phones, you can watch even 7v7 games. Youth football is always great to watch and all. And I think that's what they've got to do. They've got to open their minds a little bit more and the philosophies a bit more, because football's changing, not just on the football field, off it with the sports science, the diet, you know, all that fitness stuff and all which has been going on. You know, we've been in a bit of a crisis here all over the world, and you see home fitness, and it's all over the world. So now we need to take that on to the football field and all. And more learn. I say, how do you engage with the student? How do you get your football language across to the students so they're speaking the same football language? How does a coach challenge the students? How does he link his sessions up to challenge the students? Do the students understand the coach? It's all them little bits what you've got to you gather together, and then you sort of like put them into a jigsaw, and you bring the jigsaw together, and that's what you got to do. And then when it's play time, they're going out to play, it's linking what you've done in training, linking it up to how you're going to adapt it into your game and your style of play. But number one is challenging the students, and I think a coach has got to be able to challenge himself and all to be able to challenge the students, and that's what we've got to do a lot more of over here.
So, you know, like moving on, the next question probably will be quite difficult for you because you've had quite an illustrious career. But if you had to choose one moment, you know, which you will cherish for the rest of your life, which one would that be?
Being born. Being born.
Okay. I'll rephrase it. In your footballing career.
Oh, in the football career. I'd say obviously there's a couple. There's loads, but for me was winning the FA Cup. You know, in front of 100,000 people as a 21-year-old at Wembley. You know, so I mean, playing in the World Cup. Everybody wants to play in the World Cup. You know, we're crying out to get into a World Cup in India. You know, we've seen the U17s World Cup being here. You know, the Ladies World Cup is only around the corner. It would have been here now only for this crisis. We want the men's Indian national team to be there and competing. But that's going to take a little bit of time. But I think for me, winning the FA Cup with Wimbledon, who was, I wouldn't say underdogs on the day, who was very capable of going out there and holding our own. So winning the FA Cup was a beauty for me.
So, you know, you have a lot of experience in top flight football. So do you have any words of advice for maybe young upcoming players and even coaches?
Yeah, listen, there's I mean, I suppose there's billions of advice out there. From me and from my heart, I would say this. Live your dream, have a dream. But to live that dream and have a dream, you've got to work hard. It's like any job in the world. You've got to work hard. I call it a job because it is a job. You go out there, you play, you've got to enjoy it and all. So you've got to put the effort in, you've got to put the desire in and the focus in training. Ask questions. You'll probably get the right answers from the coach. You know, don't be just sat at the back. Be different. Be different to your player next to you. Do something different. Train a little bit. Train a little bit harder. You know, while people are sleeping, get knowledge. Get plenty of knowledge. For the coaches, get as much knowledge as you can. Speak to different coaches. Don't be shy. Challenge yourself as a coach. You know, if you're not sure, speak to a buddy of a coach. You know, we can go on these platforms all over the world now and speak to different coaches and get some fantastic information. So nowadays, it was a lot better. Nowadays, even as a young boy for myself growing up, now for the young boys and girls growing up, it's absolutely fantastic. There's loads of information out there, loads of training drills out there. So just keep working at it, live your dream, bit, really, really work hard, but you got to enjoy it and all.
Definitely. On that note, Terry, I'll ask you one final question, and it's a very controversial. People say it's very controversial, and people have even given me sticks for it, after the interview. So, whom do you prefer? Basically, the question goes like this: whom do you prefer, Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi?
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of stick over this. You talk about. I think if you look at Lionel Messi, don't forget, fantastic player, God, genius, been in Spain all his life. The plus point for Ronaldo, he's travelled. He had a fantastic 2007-2008 season at Manchester United. I think he scored 30-odd goals, 40 goals at Manchester United. Absolutely brilliant. Brought the EPL to Manchester, won the Champions League and all that. Then he's gone to Spain. He's done it in Spain. He's won countless trophies with Real Madrid. Now he's gone to Juve and he's doing the same over there. So for me, I think, you've got a genius, but you've got a machine of a player. The desire, the machine of a player. So I think for me, Ronaldo just pips it because he has travelled a little bit. He's played in different leagues. Not to say Messi couldn't do the same thing, because I'm sure if Messi played in different leagues, he'd be probably even a better player than he is now. But I think for me, Ronaldo just eclipsed it. He's 35 years of age. He's still working. He's still got that desire. He's still got that commitment. Not saying Lionel Messi hasn't, but for me, Ronaldo just pips it because he has been around Europe a little bit more. But not saying, hey, listen, I wouldn't mind Messi in my team anyway. But I think on that point, Ronaldo just tips it a little bit. Sorry fans, sorry you Messi fans out there, but still a fantastic player. Both of them are. And, we're gonna miss them when they go. We want, and this is what we're saying about the grassroots programme. We've got to start developing, the student of the game, but they've got to develop themselves and all. It's all right wanting to be like Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. You've got to work just as hard as them and all.
So again, this question just popped up, and I'll just ask you, in terms of talent, not talent actually, in terms of the characteristics, India, in your experience, is capable of developing a Messi or a Ronaldo?
Listen, it goes back again. You look at where they learnt their trade. They learnt it in their own countries. They learnt it at fantastic clubs. They already had the talent. Messi was a God-given talent. I think Ronaldo had to really work at his talent, So, listen, we've got 1.5 billion people in India. You're telling me that there's not one Lionel Messi or one Cristiano Ronaldo out there? I'm sure there is. It's finding that person or that student and nurturing them, We look at cricket, Sachin Tendulkar. There's been some fantastic cricket players come through. We want the same in football and all, but it's going to take all those professional players now playing in international football and playing for India at this present time. When they finish their career, we hope they go into coaching because they've already got the knowledge. They already know what it takes. But then when you're doing coaching, it's completely different. So the characteristics between Europe and India are completely different. Don't forget, the players in Europe are born with football in the blood. They're not born with football in the blood in India. We have to learn it. So for me, we can do it. I'm saying we because I live in India and I've been in India now for 5 years. I'm not here just to say, right, I want to make players for Europe. No, let's do this. Let's put caps on our players' heads and let's get them playing for their own country first before we start even thinking about them going and playing Europe. And that's what people are forgetting. Let's put caps on the table. Let's forget about winning these plastic little medals. Let's put caps on the table. When they get caps on their heads and they're playing for the national sides, then they've got a good chance of playing in Europe.
So on that note, Terry, thank you so much for talking to me, and I wish you all the best for your future with all the projects you are doing, and hope we can talk in soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Hope to see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.